Can you two tell me what you know about one Mr. Professor Diesel?
He plays Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, that's big. That's important.
Professor D's nuts, dude. Got him. But that is all I really know about it, quite honestly.
Vin Diesel, he's a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. He's most famous for his Fast and the Furious series, but he is a lot more into role play stuff. And so when I know...
Oh, okay.
Is this... So welcome to The Lore You Know,
Oh my God.
a podcast where some friends dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of media that we grew up with and love. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about made-up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan.
And I'm CJ, and I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those episodes.
We're already off the rails. It's going to be a great time.
I don't know if we ever left the station or if we're just like, if they didn't make the rails and we just decided to try it out anyway or what's going on. But
yes.
I got a good feeling about this one.
It'll be great.
All right.
I thought we were going to start talking about Ethan's roleplay habits.
I think
his penchant for dressing up as schoolgirls.
That's
what I thought he was trying to segue
X-rated.
into. But
first off, Fran, every man wants to be a pretty anime girl. That's just science.
Who doesn't? Really? Yeah, I get it.
Every man doesn't not. And I don't think we should judge men for that. I think we should praise them.
Every man wants to be a anime schoolgirl, but they're not allowed to admit that. So instead, we like to role play big, tough, strong men who are the bestest. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Is Vin Diesel's a couple of his role play characters, Mr. Richard B. Riddick.
Okay, so
in a schoolgirl outfit.
Only the one time. When I describe this series, I don't want you to imagine it as like, why would somebody make a movie series like this? I want you to imagine, what if a rich and famous person wanted to play out their own role play character in like as much media as possible? And then like this all makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
I was so sure up until, I guess, 30 seconds ago that this was a book that was like Artemis Fowl. Like, I feel like Artemis Fowl and this stuff was the same thing for a while. Like, I read...
Like actually exactly the same?
Like, I read...
the same franchise?
I read Harry Potter. And then there were the other, like, weird nerd kids that I would never hang out with. I would, like, call them names and stuff. And then those guys would read, like, Artemis Fowl and, like, Chronicles of Riddick.
Is this a movie series or a book series or both?
There's no books that I know.
There's no books? Not a single book?
Books, but...
It's called the Chronicles. That means it's written down.
I assumed there were, like tomes.
You know, the funny thing, too, is that, like, the series, I've seen it referred to as the Chronicles of Riddick several times, which is actually the name of the second movie.
Second movie, great.
So the
first one's just Riddick, right?
No, the first one is called Pitch Black.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me?
Just start from the beginning. We're never gonna like back our way into this. I thought I could like sleuth this one out, world's greatest lore detective style, but I can't.
The series starts out with Pitch Black, right?
Okay.
It is
what? When I never heard of this movie. I don't know. I need a time frame.
Oh my God, you guys want years?
We do this every time, Ethan. We say that it's 2000. Okay, it is the year.
It is 2000. Okay,
the distant
year of our Lord and Savior.
The distant future, the year 2000.
Okay,
He-
that's good context. Was this before or after the Matrix?
Well, it was before 9/11, so we're in a pre 9/11 world.
Good to know. Good to know.
It's a different
And I know
time.
what level of CGI to be envisioning
Right.
in this as well.
All right, I guess that if anything is a fair point. You can imagine that level of CGI, and Pitch Black is a like B movie science fiction movie, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's pretty fun, it's pretty actiony, but it's definitely not high art, right? This is like classic Vin Diesel B movie. This one it did decently well for the budget that it had, right? And Vin Diesel fucking loved it. Let me be clear, Vin Diesel fucking loves Riddick.
So
Okay?
he didn't like create this, but he became Riddick, and then when he inhabited the role, as all artists like Vin Diesel of screen and stage do, you inhabit the role, and then he sort of summoned that piece of Riddick and is now immutably within himself, and he said to himself, I must never let this sweet light die inside of me.
That I'm about to explain to you how on point you are, CJ, because you see Pitch Black came out, did pretty good, classic
Did
science
pretty good?
movie.
Okay, I was
had
not
never heard of it
expecting
until
that.
this day, but all right.
Solid 7 out of 10.
Well, you were like 9, Fran, so.
I was 9. That is true.
So, they start making more stuff for it. They made they call it an animated movie. It's 35 minutes long.
It's like an
Okay.
OVA.
Yeah, so sort of a Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown kind of.
Okay,
like,
yeah, it's a seasonal
animated
thing.
specials.
Right.
They
You're supposed
made
to play it between the Macy's parade.
They made this animated movie because Vin Diesel was very pumped for it and made a lot of requests. And they were like, okay, Vin Diesel, we will make this animated movie. They made a video game series because Vin Diesel was like, I would like to be the voice actor for this, and I really think that you guys should do some Riddick stuff.
This is post Iron Giant voice of the
Wow.
Iron Giant Vin Diesel, but pre Fast and Furious Vin Diesel.
Really? And he had that much pull?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he was
After
the Iron
one
Giant.
movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Good,
I
good
mean,
for him.
he had other he was a known action
Was
movie
he?
star at that point.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hate to
What
break
else?
it to
I
you,
don't know.
Ethan, but he had about 4 movies before the Iron Giant, and that's all I could see on his Wikipedia page. I mean, he was in Saving Private Ryan.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
again, is like Fast and
I've seen that one.
As we've said, Fast and Furious is his big series,
Yeah.
but he had roles before. It's not like he just did Riddick and then was suddenly like, I'm a big shot now.
No, but that's
Uh,
kind of what happened, though. He did Riddick, and then the next year he did Fast and Furious, and then he now he can fucking buy a
Triple
house
X
on the
the
moon.
next year?
I know, it just was banger
Triple-
after banger after
Triple
banger.
X
He
is-
has-
Triple X is
It
fucking,
sounds like
fucking so
it
rad.
sounds like
Triple
Iron
X.
Giant really set him up for a lot.
Triple
honestly.
X actually is fucking radical, dude. I fucking love it. He's like snowboarding. He like fucking does a kick flip into a helicopter or some shit. It's
Holy
awesome.
shit.
Ethan,
All right.
where are we in the lore? Because I don't feel like we're very far yet.
We have
contact with
covered
Vin Diesel, but okay.
nothing. It was for nothing.
This is why we
This
can't
is why I
record
fell
at night.
asleep.
This sucks. All right.
I'm so tired.
I'm so tired. All right. So we have a Vin Diesel who's
Okay.
big dicking it off of the Iron Giant.
all right.
He's getting ready to be in the Fast and Furious. What's happening?
Chronicles of Riddick is the second movie, and it flops hard.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
one I know
That
about.
tracks. That tracks to me.
At this point, Vin Diesel buys the rights to the Riddick series and is now the owner of the IP of Chronicles of Riddick.
Don't
And
let your dreams be dreams, essentially, right here.
he's like, no, we are done when I say we're done.
Also, in fairness, Ethan, I'm seeing the budget was between 105 120 million, and it grossed between 107 and 115 worldwide. So they came even. You know what, Ethan? I'm tired of you always pushing this narrative of infinite growth. Oh, we always have to be making money. That doesn't even make sense, Ethan. A movie isn't a thing. You can't live in a movie. So yeah, it was. It got a 4.6 out of 10.
To live in the movie.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
You're right, CJ. We need to be making art. And when I get to the third movie, we'll talk about what art looks like.
All right, thank God.
So this is kind of the context of the series. This is Mr. Vin Diesel's baby. This is I want to role play the cool space tough guy.
So would you say at this point, at the first movie that we hit the spark of Riddick inhabited him and was living inside of him, all that stuff, like I was saying earlier. But now, second movie comes out. Do you think maybe Riddick is actually more in Vin Diesel than Vin Diesel is at that point? Like, do you think he is now the minority of his own consciousness compared to Riddick?
Yeah, I would say that Vin Diesel at that point, he's Riddick, he's Dominic from the Fast and the Furious, and he is also the last Witcher, which is not based on the Witcher game series, but is actually based on a role-play character that he used to play, that he was like, I really want to do.
The he based on the Witcher series? Because that's crazy. This dude's the dude who comes to the
Vin Diesel episode at this point. Shit.
I guess it is.
It has to be a little bit.
I wasn't expecting it. I will say, I've played Dungeons and Dragons. I have some favorite characters I have, but they never come up during like my day job. So
imagine if they could.
But it could.
CJ. Imagine if you were like
in your job right now.
If you had enough pull that it could, CJ, you would do it.
Is that not basically what Critical Role is? Is that not what the whole idea behind that is that they are those guys?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would love that. I would love it, Ethan. If I could live in such a world, tell me more about it.
Yeah, well, you can't, but Vin Diesel can.
Well, right. I'm not, obviously.
So I'm assuming Riddick is the name of the character.
Yeah, again, Richard B. Riddick.
Dick Riddick?
That's his actual name?
Dick Riddick.
What is B? What does the B stand for?
Don't ask what the B stands for. Dick
biggest Riddick.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Mr. Biggest, you're wanted on set. That's what he requested people would say to him when he was working on Fast and Furious.
Again, if you could, you would.
You're not wrong.
That's actually part of the rumors because he's been such an asshole to work with. He's just been such a big dick on set for those movies.
Right. So that's why
such a big dick.
They were like, oh, whatever you say, Richard, and he's like, oh, they're respecting my characters and they respect me, but they're just like, nah, he's just a dick.
He's just a dick.
So what makes Richard Biggest Riddick so compelling that Vin Diesel wanted to dump all his Fast and Furious money on buying the IP?
Oh my God, I would love to. Well, I think at that point it didn't cost him all that much to get the rights, but
basically,
the thing that's interesting about the Riddick series is that it is like schlocky B grade sci-fi, but they actually do like a pretty good job of world building. It's a lot of rule of cool stuff, and if you guys stop me for every illogical thing I talk about, we will be here all day. But
I will do my best to.
If it's rule of cool, Ethan, I'm all for it. If it's just stupid, that's when I'm gonna be like, I don't think I like this very much.
The vibes are on point, and let me explain to you. This is a good entry point into his world. Okay, so the series takes place 500 years in the future. Humans are all over space, right? There's aliens and shit.
Elon Musk is in charge. He figured it all out. He's still a brain inside of a robot somewhere.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't come up in the series very much, but he is out there making the universe a better place. Uh, and actually, I would say that would actually explain a lot because you see, in this future space world, there are a lot of planets that are just prison planets, right?
Of course
And
there are. The
whatever.
prison industrial complex cannot escape.
Yeah, it's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And whatever like entity that I don't remember them mentioning, but somebody pays these prison planets more money for the more dangerous and wanted people that they have at their prison planets. And it just so happens that Mr. Riddick is the most wanted person in space.
That's so like, all right, my character, he's got a big bounty on his head. And like, oh, how big is his bounty? It's like, no, he's got
the biggest.
The biggest bounty on his head. He's the most.
His name's not Richard B. Riddick for nothing. It's the biggest.
It's the biggest. The biggest stands for the amount of money that you'd get for getting this guy, but you'd never get him because he's too kick ass.
The B stands for big bounty.
You guys are on board now. I like it.
I love this too because this is like when you for those of you in the audience who don't play role-playing games, you should give it a shot. But I assume almost all of you do. And this is like when you make a character, this is like what you put in their backstory because it's like too good. Like you are unsure that you will be able to play this good. So this is what you put in the backstory to explain why you're so kick-ass right now. And then if something happens to you in the future, well, it's like, well, that was bullshit. There's nothing I could really do about that, huh? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, again, this series will be much easier to digest if you think of it as Vin Diesel is role-playing his character Riddick, who's too cool for school, and the director is his DM, who Riddick is his favorite character also, so he just kind of makes things go his way.
Sounds great.
I'm literally imagining Vin Diesel like over an old-style bureau, like at candlelight with a quill and ink, like writing this movie out.
So we'll start with Pitch Black, the only one that does not have Riddick's name stamped across it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got this little spaceship that is flying along. All of the people are in cryogenic sleep like you do when you're spaceshipping.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets hit by a little meteor. Oh no, the autopilot freaks out. They're coming crashing down onto this planet, right?
Okay.
The pilot, a Miss Carolyn Fry, she is like, she's trying to stabilize the ship. She's almost able to, and her co-pilot guy is just like, there's no way we can do it. And she's like, I bet we could do it if I eject all of the passenger sections. Then I would be able to pull up.
Okay.
And
first off, a woman pilot. I mean,
500 years in the future, CJ.
Sure. And look what happened. And second of all, what kind of spaceship is designed to jettison the people cargo in case you're gonna like
CJ, Ethan said we
all
can't
right,
be questioning
all right.
every single thing.
You're right.
We're
still in the opening scene.
5 hours.
You're right. You're
literally in the first movie.
Sorry, I just thought it was gonna
at this point.
I thought it was gonna be a little more Trigun, but I guess it's a little more like the new Star Wars.
No, to be fair, they're like a smuggler type thing, so they've got their whole like ejecting cargo stuff, and it just so happens that their cargo is people this time.
Okay, gotcha.
So she does go to hit the eject thing, but oh shit, it's broken. She can't eject all of the people.
Of course.
And they do a crash landing on this planet.
Okay, so I'm not gonna pick everything apart, but like, why even put that in there then? Just
I'll tell you why a little bit later, CJ.
Okay, great. All right, go.
So they crash on the planet. Most of the passengers are able to survive. A lot of the like personnel die. One of the other pilots dies. All that shit.
Unfortunately, Riddick perishes. He didn't make it.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. So we have we've got this little kid named Jack. he was actually stowing away on this ship here, but he gets out. We've got Carolyn Fry, the pilot, is able to get out. Abu al-Walid and his 3 young wards are able to escape.
Okay, run a background check on that guy, I guess.
Oh, it's racist, CJ.
His 3 young wards, Ethan, on the smuggler ship. I don't know about that.
Okay.
And a man named Johns escapes. You know, the people are like, oh man, there. Just so we're clear, there were also several other survivors. They're going to die at various times here. I did not even bother looking up their names. They're cannon fodder.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Awesome.
Literally cannon fodder. Ethan, that's a little lore joke.
You, CJ.
You're welcome.
So the people are like, oh my God, that was super scary, but I'm glad that we survived. And Johns is freaking the fuck out because he's like, this is not good. I had a guy, maybe you know of him, fucking Riddick in the back, all tied up and shit, and he's not here anymore. And this is very bad.
He said he was like, you think you're gonna take me to prison? I'm gonna make this spaceship do a crash landing and then make the eject button not work, and then I'm gonna get out of this crash and you're not even gonna find me.
He rolled really well.
Yeah, he got
super well.
He got like a 14, but again, the DM is like, yeah, it's probably fine.
So at this point, like, they're all like, oh, whatever, just some criminal guy. And he's like, Riddick's the baddest motherfucker you've ever seen in this whole fucking universe.
He's like,
he's more animal than man.
Whoa. I don't know if you could say that.
Richard B. Riddick. Richard Biggest Riddick.
They're all like stifling giggles. That's not his name, right?
No, that's his name, and he's earned it.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, Riddick is, among many other things, he is wanted for murder, and Johns is convinced that he is just like a killing machine at heart.
Murder of whom?
Well, some people depending on how Lord you consider.
Are they justified murders? Because I'm assuming he has to be somewhat compelling. Fran, he's a murderer.
Okay, I already know this, Fran. And like, this is so easy. Think about if you're making a D&D character and your character is going to jail for murder. Do you think
it's like avenging someone?
Do you think they actually committed that murder, Fran, or do you think that they were framed for a murder they didn't even commit?
No, I think it's a thing where he committed the murder, but it was like a justified murder.
Okay, this is fun. This is
like at the beginning of what was that series we did? Doom.
Okay,
Doom. It was a Marine. He was sent to Mars because he like protected the children or whatever.
Because he wouldn't kill civilians.
Yeah, he wouldn't kill civilians. Yeah, so just like
this is good. This is like a fun little mini game we're gonna do. So I guess we're gonna see who's right.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, keep going so I can figure out who's right.
I'm just gonna keep going. So Johns is freaking out about Riddick, but the rest of them are kind of like, well, we're currently like stranded on a desert space planet that nobody's ever heard of. And there's 2 gigantic suns in the sky, and it seems like it is perpetual day here.
In the background, it's like.
Unfortunately, there's no one around to burp, 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 burp.
No!
That's why it's in the distance.
Right. Quietly.
They do their little scan of the like immediate area, and they're able to find that there's one lone research station that's here on the planet. And they're like, well, our ship is like fucking done. So this is our only hope of survival. We got to start heading here. On the way over here, people start fucking dying, just getting like ripped to shreds.
Some like sandwormy stuff,
and Johns is like, oh my God, it's fucking Riddick. We're all in fucking trouble because he's such a badass. Let me tell you.
Wait, are they literally like dissolving, like the fucking Marvin the Martian disintegrating them, or like what?
No, it's a pretty classic, like someone is like, I'm gonna go around the corner and look over here.
Sorry, I gotta take a leak, boss. I gotta take a big wicked pisser. Then he goes around the corner. He's like, ugh, and then they go there, and he's like, oh no, he died taking a big, fat, wicked pisser. Oh no, that's
CJ, you're so on point right now.
He never wanted to go out this way. Dick to the breeze.
Medium-sized dick, not at all biggest.
It's a small dick sort of move over there.
So they're able to make their way to the research station. We learn a little bit more about the characters. Johns is a little bit tweaking out, and it turns out that he is the mercenary who captured Riddick, but he's also very addicted to morphine.
Oh, his probably space morphine, or they always
space
call it
morphine. Yep.
Oh, okay.
They always call it like something
What's a
interesting.
cool name?
Yeah, like
I mean they call it morphine. It's morphine.
Oh, so it's just it's regular morphine.
It is normal morphine.
All of you.
500
I was gonna
years,
say all of
we
humanity
would
has
have something
advanced.
better.
No, but it's for pain. No, we just use morphine. We just do it for fun in the future.
we do it for fun,
and people don't even think it's a problem.
It's definitely a problem for Johns. He's got the shakes pretty bad. But so we've got Johns. It turns out he's addicted to morphine. Jack is just this like little guy, and he's like, well, I think this Riddick person actually sounds pretty cool. I think that's neat.
I think if I was an audience member watching this, I would relate to him.
And Mr. Waleed is on a space pilgrimage. He is a space Muslim, as are his 3 wards, and they were on a return trip to the planet New Mecca.
Okay, so okay.
I have questions.
Wait, we have to talk about New Mecca because is the planet a big cube and they like fly around it? What do they do? Did they build a second bigger one on a different planet? I don't think that's the whole point of the first one, right? I don't think they just put that there for fun and they're like, and everyone come here.
I'm sure you're not surprised, but
was there a Muhammad too? Space Muhammad?
CJ, I actually think this might be a Mormon situation where it's
Fred, you can't
like,
say that. You can't conflate those two, but go ahead. I'm interested. You've piqued my interest. I think Mormons, I know what you're gonna say.
Like Mormons have like space planets, right? When they die, they get their own planet, right? And like it's very space themed inversion of it's like a spacey Christianity,
right? It's like hard. It's hard for you to like associate with a religion about like a planet that's like way far away. So they made a new one where they're like, oh, that's okay because Muhammad II, Electric Boogaloo, came to this planet also and made double Mecca. And this one
like
is actually this one's better anyway. So just do that. And then everyone was like,
an offshoot of the Muslim.
Yep. I think
we know today.
I think you're exactly right, Fran, and I can't think of any reason anyone would have a problem with any of this. So I think that's all above board.
All of my statements come from a place of ignorance, just so people know.
Definitely that. Yeah.
And not from malice.
Thus, it is okay. Oh my God, Fran's gonna die. Fran ain't making it out of the other end of this one.
So this whole time we're getting like the occasional shots like from Riddick, right? And he's like sneaking around. He's a master of stealth, you see.
Is he doing the like dun 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 like in the background?
Way worse than that. He's doing the like they're walking right past me and they can't tell, but I do quick stick my head out to take a sniff of Carolyn's hair. On the way past.
No, that's not a real thing that happens. That's kind of gross.
No. This was the year 2000. This was the year 2000.
This is the year 2500. So
CJ, do you remember how I said that it matters that Carolyn was like willing to eject the passengers?
Yeah.
Like Riddick. I can't remember if this comes at this point or later, but spiritually, this is like from the start. He's like, I know that you wanted to kill everyone to save your own life, and I think that's really attractive.
Yeah,
I'm
no, he's
I'm
gonna
a
bang her. Yeah.
I'm an animal murderer type guy, and I see that same animalistic will to survive in you, and that's so fucking hot.
Oh.
I literally was gonna ask if the pilot was hot at the front, but I didn't want people to mistake me erroneously for a misogynist, so I did not bring it up. But I now am filled with deep remorse and regret that I did not, at the very least, ask if she had a banging body.
Why is he likable? I need to know
I
why
don't.
he's likable.
Okay, I don't. I think you're gonna have to keep waiting for that because because my eyes have been opened. I thought that he was making a character like how I would make a character, which is I am like a hero type. But I think when Vin Diesel relates to a character, he maybe relates to someone who's kind of a huge asshole. And
This is like very much your edgelord
yeah,
character,
that's
right?
exactly what I was
Okay.
thinking. Yeah.
I'm
So
pretty
this
sure he
appeals
directly
to
says,
teenage
"I
boy
work
demographic.
alone,"
Yeah.
like
Oh, does
multiple
he really?
times.
I work
Great.
alone. I am Groot.
Really, thank you,
sorry,
CJ.
sorry, that's later. I blew my load too early, man. I've been holding on to the I am Groot thing for a while, but I have to
It's
put
okay.
it out
That's
there.
he says it a
Thank
lot.
you.
He can
He
use it
does.
multiple times.
That's of
All right,
all the lines Vin Diesel's ever said, he's probably said I am Groot the most.
The most, truly.
you maybe tied with the
Family.
word family.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
probably, yeah.
All right, so they're making their way to the research station, right? Riddick is spending his time creeping on Carolyn here, and
And murdering people,
because
allegedly.
of because of this, Johns is actually able to get the drop on Riddick and capture him.
Because
And
Because he's
he's like,
sniffing
sniffing her
Carolyn's
hair.
hair.
Okay, great.
and he's like, "Ooh, Riddick,
Cool.
I'm gonna get my money now." And Riddick's like, "You guys are all gonna die." I'm like, "Oh, you killed
You guys are cringe. I
you
kill you.
guys." You guys are all gonna fucking die. And they're like, "Oh my god, why did you even murder those people?" And he's like, "I didn't kill anyone. I didn't say you were all gonna die for me."
I got it. Come on, give it up to the boy.
So they get to the research station, and it's standing. There's even a ship there,
Oh,
but it
convenient.
has been abandoned for a long time. I would say around 22 years it seems like it's been abandoned. And so they're like, "Oh, this is great. There's a ship here. It seems like it's in working order. The power cells are like long dead, but we can go back to our crash ship, salvage that stuff, come back, and we'll be able to fly out of here."
Because the
Okay.
first time we came here was so easy. Barely anyone died. And
Barely anyone died.
let me do the math. They're back. Yeah, I think we have enough people to do that.
Mm-hmm. And so, like everybody else is happy, and meanwhile, Riddick's like saying to Carolyn, like, "Have you noticed where the people die when they've gone away? Like near these random cave holes that are like all over this planet." And
Why
she's
would
like,
they go near the
"Oh,
random cave holes?
for a wicked pisser."
It's like, hold on, I see there's a cave over here, and I gotta take a wicked pisser, and I'm not gonna whip my dick out underneath the two suns, God's eyes as I call them. So I'm gonna go down underneath in these cave areas, and I'm gonna do it there.
So, Carolyn does a little bit of digging around this research station, and she finds that, yeah, it seems that they were doing some research on this planet, and they found that this world is continually in the sun, except once every 22 years, the planets align and there is a full eclipse.
Cool.
And at that point, the whole planet is dark.
The
Okay.
one sun eclipsed the second sun, and then it's darkness.
And
Yeah,
they cancel out.
Don't worry about it.
Some
Okay.
moon or other planet
they
or
have
something.
two
That's how
moons?
eclipses work.
They have two moons, and each of them lines up to do that. I mean, that's proof. That's proof God exists right there.
Man,
That's-
only
that's
22
why-
years also. For that
Also,
cycle
which
to
is very
happen. It's
short,
pretty
you know, the cosmic
Mhm.
cycle.
remarkable.
Fran, we can't. The fucking, the two suns line up, and then the moon lines up, and then that's 22.
Hell yeah.
Sucks, dude. So shitty.
Fucking
CJ, I'm really happy you're my DM and
Yeah.
not
not Vin Diesel.
oh my
Well, Vin Diesel
god.
didn't write it though.
TJ,
right?
if you gave me a once every 22 years like perfect eclipse, I would love that so much.
At least do a couple hundred. Come on, guys.
So, Carolyn is looking into this more, and Jack is like, well, I think that we should trust Riddick. I think he's pretty cool.
Right.
And so Carolyn starts looking into this more, and she goes to investigate one of these caves. And
the caves that kill people? All right, cool. Yeah, go to the caves.
Wouldn't you guys fucking know it? It turns out that these caves are filled with these fucking big lizard monsters that have like hammerhead shark heads, except instead of just being like their sword sides to their head.
Oh, that's fucking cool. Are their eyes still on the sides, or where are their eyes?
Their eyes are, I think, right under the things.
The sword, so they go face first into whatever they kill?
They go face first, slashing
pretty
into
radical.
shit.
That's really fucking cool,
That's
actually.
pretty
I really
radical.
like that. All right.
She's barely able to escape them because it turns out that they hate the sun, right? And so she's able to get back out of the cave.
Armor.
Right.
And she's got some plot armor. And CJ, have you put these two pieces together?
Because when the suns go away, they all come out like fucking the one episode of Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, like when the one episode of Powerpuff Girls where there's the boogeymen that live under the bed, and then they're like, we can only come out at night. This sucks ass. And then the boogeyman's like, I got a big plan, and I'm gonna block out the sun with my funky disco ball. And then he does that, and then they're like, eternal night, baby. Now the demons get to hang out. And wait, if their eyes are like underneath their sword heads, that would be like perfect. Like they have like a built-in like sunshade. I don't know that.
Their skin might not be able to tolerate. Like people sometimes have sun allergies and like eczema.
Yeah, they're very affected by light.
It's like it's like Ethan on the beach. He's got to lather up.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a Twilight vampire situation where they just like sparkle or something.
Damn.
So, they're like, we should maybe do this fast because this once every 22 years eclipse is happening like now, and we need to get all the way over to our other ship and grab the stuff.
What are the odds?
Well, I have another question for you, CJ. What are the odds that Mr. Richard B. Riddick is the only human we know of who has magical eyes that can see in the dark?
Oh, he has dark vision.
So he's got the goggles because he's like, oh, sun's so bright. You didn't even mention he had goggles, Ethan. You just assumed everyone would know.
I didn't even mention he had goggles.
I saw it in the picture for the movie, and I'm always like, why does he have those fucking stupid-ass goggles all the time? But it's because his
eyes are very sensitive.
His eyes so good. They're too good.
His eyes are too good.
And so you tricked us in the audience. You're gonna hear about that in the comment section when they're giving likes and subscribing.
So they're making their way back to their spaceship, but as they get there, the eclipse happens.
Oh, nice.
And they make it like Johns doesn't want to, but they all make the decision like, we have to free Riddick. He's the only one who can fucking see where he's going, and we need him to lead us out of here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna poke holes in this. I mean, there's no other light anywhere. Whatever. I don't fuck it. Eclipses last for like 5 minutes, by the way, but whatever.
This one I think lasts for several years or something.
How?
There's no Euclidean.
No.
There's no Euclidean or Platonic or any sort of Newtonian physics that would agree with that. But yeah, all right. So it's like
beautiful.
Years every 22 years? I guess that makes sense why they're so like prominent as a species, I guess.
So these things start coming out of the ground. They are coming out by the thousands. These things are like fucking ants, like surging out when you
Yeah.
spill your soda.
There's like
They're
Are they
fucking
human
everywhere.
sized?
they're like the
Are they like
cicadas.
They're roughly human sized, yeah.
okay? Alright.
You know, they crawl around on all fours like lizards, and their strategy does seem to be to do like a leap and sword head slash at people.
That's kick ass, yeah.
It's very kick ass. So, oh, I think you are going to love this. So they're Riddick's leading the charge, but they're having a tough time, right? Some of the people aren't keeping up. We lose another cannon fodder guy or two, gets ripped to shreds. They've got
Mm-hmm.
dumb like glow lights that they were able to find that they keep on themselves to try and keep the creatures away because they're that sensitive to light.
Right.
But like, oh, they're not gonna last all the way and all of that shit.
It's 2500. They haven't figured out fucking
They don't have
flashlights.
good glow sticks.
Yeah, all right, cool.
It's also raining now, if that helps.
I thought this was a desert. Whatever, I don't care.
Well, now it's
fine.
eclipse
It still rains
time.
in the desert.
Right,
Is that
yeah, it
often?
waits until it
So-
eclipses. What are the odds?
CJ, I have to give you the good news here.
Oh,
Because you see they're like, how are these things like tracking us so well? And Riddick's like,
can they sense footprints like
they
the
can
dude?
no, CJ, they can smell blood and someone's on their period.
Oh, seriously?
This is why you don't bring women into the forest, because bears can smell.
And
This is why it was Lewis and Clark, not Lois and Clark, because they didn't have any women there. It was only men because they knew they would never do a period in the forest. Same on.
Or the sword bears would get them.
Or the sword creatures would come out during the 100-year eclipse and kill them.
But here's the big reveal, CJ, because Carolyn's like, I'm not on my fucking period. And Riddick's like, I wasn't talking about you. And Jack is. It turns out that young man Jack is actually young lady Jack.
Whoa!
She was pretending to be a man because that's safer to travel in terrible space travel stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
That's pretty good.
All
If I
Jack.
was writing this story in 2023, I would make it so that Jack was actually a trans man who had not yet transitioned via surgeries or what have you, and then Jack was like, I am a man, but then he has to deal with like the physical changes that he's going through still, and he's like, well, I can't afford it yet, and my parents don't agree with my lifestyle and all that stuff. And then it really becomes about Jack specifically, and then it's less about Riddick because he's kind of a dick for just like outing him,
outing
like
someone.
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, Jack does hold a pretty androgynous energy throughout the whole of the series, which, considering this is early 2000s, is pretty good.
Is Jack like, oh, Riddick is kind of funky fresh with it. He's kind of a big hunk, and as a man, obviously there would be no sexual tension because I'm a man. But if I was a woman, there might be something there.
There is like Jack very much wants to be like Riddick, and it's just like, oh, that guy who like is a known space killer is pretty cool. He's got the biggest bounty of anybody ever, and that's pretty
biggest
awesome.
bounty. That's
Richard
Yeah,
Bounty Riddick, they call him.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say Jack is a trans icon king, and you can't stop me, Vin Diesel. Come fight me. You don't know where I live. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if Vin Diesel would fight you on that. That's fine.
I don't know what Vin Diesel's viewpoints are. It doesn't feel like he'd be fine.
Diesel's viewpoints are.
It doesn't feel like he'd be fine with that, but who am I to say? Vin Diesel,
that's presumptive of you.
Leave a comment if you are cool with trans men hanging out with you, because if you are, I'll like you a little more.
All right, nice. So Riddick has taken a liking to Jack here, probably because Jack keeps talking about how awesome he is.
Right.
But so they've like come to this realization, like, oh shit, like this is very bad. And then Johns is like, hey, Riddick, could I like talk to you over here for a second? And they go to talk, and Johns is like, Riddick, I'm not gonna fucking die on this planet. I say we send the little kid running in the opposite direction, and she pulls all of the aggro, and then we just get out scot free.
This is the part that you're actually in the campaign, and you're like, the character's like, we could get out easy peasy. All you have to do, switch that chaotic neutral. Let's go a little chaotic evil. You know what I'm saying?
And Riddick is like, if it was literally any other character, I would probably do that. But this is the one that I've decided I have a kinship with, so I'm now going to fight you to the death. So they're fighting to the death. It's pretty cool. And of course, like at the last second when they're fighting, instead of Riddick killing him, one of these giant fucking sword monsters does just like fly through and tear Johns in half.
Love it. That's great.
I just now realized why they're sharks. Why they have sharks' heads, because they can smell blood. I mean, because you said they were lizards, I was going more with a lizard vibe, but it's because they can smell blood. I get it now.
It's fucking rad.
Yeah. In the air, which water's different. Sharks can smell blood in the water because there's like waves and stuff. But air.
The rest of them,
they're on a planet that has a total eclipse every 22 years for 3 years.
A total eclipse of the heart. Yeah. I know.
God,
it's
so fucking cool.
No,
Riddick,
CJ, it's raining. CJ, it's raining. There is water.
Oh, and Riddick says, "Turn around." There's a shark guy behind you. That's a little eclipse of the heart joke.
Oh, CJ, you're so right. That so does happen, where he's like, Johns, you better turn around.
He says,
and Johns is like, what the fuck, would I trust you? And then he gets slashed in half.
And he's like, but every now and then I get a little bit lonely because you never come around. And then he dies because he just didn't.
I have like 5 more entries in this series to talk about.
And I'm sure you're gonna get through them. And I'm sure you're gonna get through them very powerfully, Ethan. And I'm excited to hear them, quite honestly, if I can be very honest with you.
All right, I'm glad. I do. Like I said, this is B-movie schlock, but I do love this series. It's very fucking good.
This is fun. I'm having fun right now. Can't you tell I'm having fun? We're all having fun. I declare it.
So the rest of them are like, we just gotta fucking go as fast as we can. We gotta try to get to this base. They start running. Of course, like, Riddick is able to be at the front because he's super strong and fast and such, and he's carrying the like power cells, and he's still the one in the lead. Carolyn is right behind him. The priest guy, the Muslim priest guy, and Jack, who I think...
Wait, that terminology doesn't sound like it goes together.
Imam would be the proper terminology, but whatever.
All right.
Abu is his name, actually.
I refuse to do that. To go anywhere near that.
All right.
You're my
I think
friend,
at this point, these are the only 4 characters who are left alive.
I can't believe
all the wards dead?
Oh yeah, they've died off horribly.
Oh no. They just wanted to be
I'm just
closer
imagining them as like the green shells surrounding you in Mario Kart. And they just kind of got picked off.
I think you're probably pretty you're pretty accurate, I think.
Wow, that's an interesting way to look at it, but yeah, I like that. So Jack, and we'll call him Waleed. We'll call him by his last name. I think the whole time I didn't remember his name because the person who talks to him most is Riddick, but he always calls him Holy Man. Might be time to start praying, Holy Man.
Oh, the Riddick calls the other guy Holy Man.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
Holy Man.
They start falling behind, and in the end they have to like duck into this like really tiny crack, like to avoid being murdered because the giant fucking sword heads can't fit inside this like little section of wall here.
Right.
So like, please don't fucking leave us. And Riddick's just like, I mean, at this point we probably have to leave them. I'm a survivor. And so Carolyn and Riddick get to the ship, and he's just like, all right, Carolyn, I think it's really awesome that you're a survivor like me. We should totally bang or something. We're survivors. And Carolyn's like, I think that I have just figured out what a conscience is, and I feel bad about leaving the child and holy man there. So I'm going to go back and save them.
Okay.
He wanted to save Jax. Jax is in the hole.
Yeah, so
and then later he was like, I just don't give a fuck anymore, and I want to get laid.
I think there's like a moral difference that he sees where he's like, I will not purposefully send you to your death, but if you cannot keep up with me, then that is your own problem.
Okay.
Great. Love that.
All right.
But the lady that he wants to plow is like, I'm back. So he's like, fine, I'll fucking go back also.
Great.
And so they make their way back. They're able to save the two people with like a badass fight with these monsters and such. But then
thousands of them, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but then like just as they get to the spaceship again, fucking Carolyn gets cut down. She saves Riddick, like pushing him out of the way at the last second.
Oh.
And he's like, oh, is this... Oh.
You've made me a beta. I didn't want to depend on a woman for anything. Now with your final breath, you made me a cuck in a way.
you made me a fucking lame loser.
I feel small.
No, I think he says something along the lines of like he had told her earlier, like you shouldn't sacrifice your life for anyone, especially not me. And then like she does in the end, and he like repeats like, no, not for me. This is my one emotional moment in this movie.
I dislike this fellow, I think generally, but
I think that there is he's definitely not a great character, but I think you're gonna have a lot more fun with him as we go.
Okay, great.
So this is the first movie. The three of them are the only survivors, and they are able to get off of this fucking rad monster planet.
Holy man and woman man?
Holy man and woman child man who idolizes Riddick.
But she's not actually trans. She's just a lady who is pretending to be a man for, I assume,
transportation purposes.
Some sort of like future bigotry reasons.
So, yeah, I mean, and probably like rape and defilement reasons.
Oh,
but,
great.
You know, that's how life is
the normal
hard.
ones.
But no, I mean, like, I would say that there's, for early 2000, there is some legitimate vibe of like transness where Jack is again not just she doesn't have the hots for Riddick. She's like, I want to be like you, and takes that to also be like, I want to be like stronger and more manly and those kind of things.
Okay,
right.
I'm into it because there's a big erasure of trans people, and they're like, oh no, that's just like a current thing. It's like trend. People are just doing that, but no, they've been around for a long time, and even people who make movies will sneak a trans character in there, like Bugs Bunny is trans. You can't convince me otherwise. So I like that. I that's my lore, that's my headcanon for that. So
all right, so this was the first movie. Again, at this point, it wasn't named after Riddick. Like this was a classic action sci-fi B movie, right? They had no intention, huh?
What the fuck is this one name?
It is called Pitch Black.
Oh, because it gets dark.
Because it gets pitch black outside.
Because there's an eclipse, CJ.
Amazing. That's so cool.
There's a total eclipse of the suns.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Somehow.
So, at like this was just made to be a fun one-off movie, but Vin Diesel fell in love with it, and he's like, we're gonna keep fucking making more. And the first more that he has them make is this 35-minute transitional movie that comes between the first and the second one. Riddick Dark Fury, this animated movie, was created because Vin Diesel was like, this shit is so cool, we need a transitional movie in between the two. And so they created this 35-minute animated movie.
Was this released on like DVD or something? Like, how was this distributed?
God, I don't know, but I will tell you that
how
I will tell you that right now, the only way you can view it is to give Amazon $5 for this 35-minute movie.
Now,
And
that's very interesting, Ethan. I don't want to cut you off, but if this was me doing the research, if I was the lore master, I would give Daddy Bezos $5 to see this movie. So the question is, Ethan, would you?
we will say that I already owned a copy of it, is what we will say.
Yes. And that, probably from your childhood, no doubt, you have this copy and then decided to watch it on your home theater.
Absolutely, Mr. CJ. So,
right. Bezos is
Riddick.
sated.
Bezos is sated. All right, so Riddick Dark Fury. This one is like it's just kind of connective tissue between the two movies, but they went fucking hard on it. This is actually legitimately like a really rad 35-minute animation.
Oh,
it's
damn.
like you know, late 90s schlocky good animation, but it's
That's
like fucking
Yeah.
fucking rad. I fucking and it's you were talking before, Fran, about the early 2000s 3D. They use a goodly chunk of early 2000s 3D in here.
Yeah.
And like,
I like
I
that.
also
oh my
imagine
god,
it being
it's
very
so good.
Animu influenced.
Oh yeah,
also.
yeah, absolutely. So in Dark Fury, they're on their little escape ship that they had, right? But oh shit, this like gigantic Merc spaceship like found them on their scanners and like goes over to their ship and pulls it in. And
tractor beam style.
Tractor, well, I think it's actually like cool robot spidery hand style.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Even cooler.
That
Even
is cooler.
That's
right.
Do you remember how I said that the rich live in giant like space cathedrals?
I do.
Was this a giant space cathedral?
This is like a giant space cathedral
That's
thing.
just like sent out like a million robot hands to like grab the ship and pull it in.
Right.
That's fucking
fabulous.
Cool.
So
this is a good reason. I don't know. Lizzie and I were talking about this recently, and it chuffs me, or it chafes me. Some of it chuffs me, some of it chafes me. But animation's like cool. Like it's maybe better for certain mediums than live action. Disney. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Iger, I know you're listening to me. Stop making live action Moana. That movie came out like 3 years ago. All right.
Usually what CJ says is just complete bullshit, but I vibe with him on this one. While I was watching this, I was just like, yeah, this is able to get across the vibe they want for their universe so much better because it is way easier to just draw a like space cathedral than it is to early 2000 CG one.
Yeah. I assume that would look pretty good though, and I actually do want to see what if there's anyone running like emulators of 2000s machinery that can emulate whatever a space cathedral would look like with that hardware. I would very much like to see that.
I'm sure it's in a video game somewhere. You can just watch
this movie, my man. You can watch this 35-minute animated movie. You should do it, but I will give you a little preview. Do you remember in the in-between commercials what the Toonami spaceship looked like?
Yeah, that shit ruled.
It looks like that.
Oh, that's very good. And
it's very good.
And then Spike Seagal's like, well, next up, we're going to get Riddick. And then he like sends out 1 million space cables to go pull him in.
Oh my god, so characters that are on this ship as they're pulling in Riddick's little ship, right? We have this like hooded figure who is clearly in charge, and she's like, yes, bring this ship in. And then we have this guy who's like fucking looks like Dib from Invader Zim if he was absolutely fucking jacked. And he is our like main villain dude in this little one. And they're able to figure out that it's Riddick on the ship, and so he brings a bunch of mercs into the zero gravity space hold where they have the ship in, and he's like, all right, guys, we're going to blow the ship open and we're going to take Riddick captive. But I want you to know he's the baddest motherfucker in the whole universe. And this is the toughest job you're ever going to have in your whole fucking lives. Because again, he's fucking so cool.
Oh my God. Tell me what I need to do, Captain, my captain.
So they are they're starting to like bore through the side of the hull of the ship, right? And Jack's like, oh no, what are you gonna do? And Riddick pulls out this little like what's it called? The little like flame thing you use to like a little welder, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And Jack's like, I don't think that's gonna stop him, Riddick. And then he's like, oh, don't worry about that. And he puts it up towards this like little, because apparently even the tiniest spaceships have little like sprinkler systems on them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because it says a fire or something.
So they tear a hole in the ship, right? And as soon as that piece comes off, a bunch of extinguisher foam shoots out and fills the zero gravity space. And then he start like this guy, you know, he's just like one of the mercenaries like sticks their head like, and then suddenly like a blade comes out from it, like pulls him back, stabs him back in.
Yeah, that's just good. It's a good environmental awareness. Okay, that's how Batman fights.
It's so good. It's this sick like 0G battle where he's like pulling all these people into the fire extinguisher foam and murdering them, and they're trying to shoot into it, but they can't tell where he is.
This is probably why I thought this was like Artemis Fowl.
Wait.
It has, yeah, it's got some of those like silly clever solution type Artemis Fowl things. So obviously none of these guys could stop Riddick, but our man Jack Dib is able to get a hold of Jack, and he's like, I'm gonna kill this kid if you don't stop. And Riddick's like, I don't care about anyone but myself. And he's like, no, I think you do care about this kid. And he's like, shit, you got me.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I do. We've been in like 2 movies together. It's fine.
So they're taken before the hooded figure. And the hooded figure stands up, and their like cowl automatically like pulls away, and it's a fucking hot big titty woman.
Yeah.
Your face was so delightful.
Yeah. We haven't seen one in a little while.
And she's like, Riddick, I'm so glad to fucking see you.
I'm horny. Be inside of me now.
I'm a horny, but in the like crazy psychopath way.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
And he's like, actually, that is usually what I'm into. So she takes him deeper into the ship.
Oh.
And she's taking him into the ship, and she's showing him around. So this is a mercenary ship, but they are like one of the weirdest like mercenary groups. And she's like, yeah, we don't actually turn anyone in for bounties. And he's like, well, what do you do with them then? And then she opens up into this giant cathedral room where she has all of these like mass murderers bounties that they captured in like statue forms that she is cryogenically frozen like that.
Whoa, like Star Wars.
She's like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a collector of murderers, and you would be the prize of my collection. And also, just so you know, these people, they're cryogenically frozen to be alive forever, but they are conscious and suffering the whole time. Great. Just so we're clear on that bit.
I think
oh my God.
I noticed you wondering what it would be like to be one of these statues. It would be eternal torment, by the way.
And so she's like, now, I do enjoy collecting murderers, but it doesn't get me off the same way that it used to. And I think the thing of it is, I need to see you doing some murdering first. So I am going to throw you into an arena with some space monsters and watch how cool and rad you kill them. And then once I've, sort of splooged,
Yeah.
then I will.
Once I've frothed myself up, then I will climax at your incapacitation. She's way into BDSM, which
Yeah. Oh yeah.
which is which makes sense. I think in a spacefaring age, more people would be probably more into bondage.
No,
That's just a more
I think
reasonable thing to enjoy.
she steps on like Dib's foot when giving him orders multiple times, and he's like doesn't react but has an obvious like, oh mommy, like this is that shit I do like.
It like cuts to his like pants. He's got big boner. Yeah, we get it.
So what I think is one of the best animation decisions I've ever seen. They decide we're going to make 3D monsters for him to fight.
Yep.
And we do have some early 2000s
Excellent.
3D jellyfish monsters.
Excellent.
Nice.
And
Wonderful.
of course, because I don't know, we have to remind people that he's got magic eyes. They do turn the lights off and the jellyfish can see in the dark, but so can he. And also the horny lady has like night vision goggles so that she can get off on this whole thing.
I'm assuming they're like opera glasses.
Yes, they are. Oh my god, Fran, they so are.
Well done, Fran. Well played.
And all this time she does also have the holy man and Jack like suspended over this battle pit.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
You know, just cuz. And so of course, Riddick is able to defeat these monsters and free Jack and Waleed, and they start escaping deeper into the ship. And she's like, he was not supposed to do the escaping part, Dib. You need to fucking fix this, or I'm not going to hurt you anymore. And he's like, oh no, I want mommy to hurt me. So
yeah. I'm relating to Dib. Yeah. What does Dib do?
So the whole ship goes on lockdown. They start like they have a bunch of mercenaries that are also cryogenically frozen that just like when some die they unfreeze more, and she's just like unfreeze everybody.
Oh.
And so the ship is just like everybody's running around, and then for reasons I cannot fucking fathom, they like unfreeze everybody and get them out there, but also send out my other monster that I have.
Yeah, fire all cannons, as it were.
So this other monster looks like a fucking just a gigantic mouth that has robot legs, like crafted onto it, and it's just like charging around. Fucking Jack's like, I'm still like a young girl. I don't think I can outrun this monster. And fucking Riddick's like, don't worry, your period has ended, but this one also chases blood. So he like stabs his arm so that he starts like dripping blood out, and then like runs the other direction from them.
I'm gonna do the man version of a period. Watch this.
And so they're going through. I don't really care, but they introduce the fucking mercenary who is chasing him at the start of the second movie here.
Yeah.
And he's like just smart enough to survive, or he like all the other ones are just chasing Riddick like an idiot, and he looks down and sees the blood trail and he's like, oh, this is very bad. There's a blood-scenting monster. I should not be on this trail anymore. Riddick's able to do a sick jump kill after he leads the monster into a corner. And he's defeated the monster. A bunch of the unfrozen mercs have been killed by said monster.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's time. They look for an escape ship. And of course, who's there waiting for him? It's fucking Dib with his rad-ass like sword gun. And Riddick's got like
gunblade.
Yeah, Riddick's got like a wicked knife that he got. And he's just like, so you want to prove who's the bigger man? And Dib is just, that's exactly what Dib wants to do. So he does take off his like lab coat shirt to show just how ripped he is. He's very ripped. And then takes the gun part off of his gun sword so that they can sword fight.
I like that the gun part was the attachment. Usually you put the sword at the end of a gun, but he's like, no, I don't need this bit. The rest is all I need. Check me out. I'm a big boy.
The year 2500 is wild.
I'm a big boy.
My God. It's so good. They do a little while where they just get like wild with the animation, where just like as they're swinging out their arm, it just like extends. It's like
Yeah.
really loosey goosey with it. Um, so they have this rad fucking fight. Of course, Riddick is able to win, but then as they're like trying to get onto the spaceship, who is it? It's Miss Hottie who's got a gun on Riddick, and Riddick's like, "Oh shit!" But then Jack shoots the lady at the last second because she picked
No,
up the gun part of the gun
I
sword and
was
shot her.
I was trying to have sex with her. You killed her. You
You
fucking
can still have
idiot.
sex with her.
Fran, you
No,
can't say that. Fran,
mm.
that's Riddick wouldn't have sex with
Mm.
a corpse. I think Riddick's more.
Riddick Riddick probably wouldn't have sex with a corpse.
Okay.
Probably. They escape again, right? They get off on this little escape ship, the three of them, and basically the only reason for this movie to exist, other than that Vin Diesel thought it would be cool, is that Jack is sleeping on the back of in the back of the ship, and Waleed is like, Riddick, I don't think that Jack should hang out with you anymore because you are a bad influence on her. She just shot someone to death, and
Fair.
she seems to feel pretty good
Yeah.
about that, and that
Yeah.
worries me. And
Fair.
Riddick's like, well, honestly, I don't want this life for her either. So I'm going to drop you two off on a different planet, and I'm going to go back to being a lone wolf.
I'm gonna make a canonical reason why the second movie doesn't have any of these other characters in it.
They are in it, but they're like, why would those characters be split from Riddick? Well, it's because I thought it'd be for the best if you weren't around someone like me.
For the lulls.
I work alone.
Lamau. Yeah.
All right. Would you like me? We can go either direction on this one. Would you like me to talk about the video game series, or would you like me to talk about the space Romans?
What?
I mean, I like the space Romans. I think I could relate to the video game more, but I feel like the space Romans.
So this
probably
is
gonna be
the Roman
funnier.
Empire.
Yeah, we said that, Fran.
Oh, I thought it was a bit.
If
It
you
was actually the Roman
A
Empire.
bit of truth.
They are not like actually the space Romans, but they are just like based on the Roman Empire, and they are the space Romans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the second movie, Chronicles of Riddick, is about his battle with the space Romans, and the space Romans are called the Necromongers.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have a million years to like pick that apart, but
you can't hate on every name we throw in here. You will hate on a name that we're gonna pull out in just a minute, and I love that name.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Necromongers, I assume they're some sort of undead horde?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay, great.
So the Necromongers, their like first leader saw into like the world of death and realized that life is an aberration that should not exist in the universe.
Okay.
And all Necromongers, they are like nigh immortal, but they're like, we are only alive so that we can kill all other life in the universe, and then we'll kill ourselves.
Oh.
Basically a D&D lich.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amazing.
But a Roman D&D lich.
Oh.
So they have this gigantic empire, right? And they just go from like planet to planet eradicating life, but they don't believe in breeding because that would be creating more life.
Sure.
Okay.
So the way that they increase their forces is that when they take over a planet, they allow you to become a necromonger and join them. And if you don't, they kill you.
Okay.
It's a win-win for them.
Exactly. So they are led by this guy. What is his stupid fucking title? Lord Marshall. That's it.
Lord Marshall. My name
is that the title, or is his name Marshall?
That is his title. Okay. His name is even dumber. I think it's Zywall or something.
Okay, I allow that. But
they call him the Lord Marshall the whole thing. So
yeah, that's fine.
So the Lord Marshall is the one every like leader of the necromongers needs to make a pilgrimage to the underverse, which is the land of the dead.
What's with all these
And
pilgrimage
so
things? All right, whatever.
hell yeah, man.
In space, even though travel's easier than ever, they're like, you got to make a pilgrimage.
You gotta make a pilgrimage. So he's made a pilgrimage to the underverse, and he is functionally a lich at this point, right? Like
Yep.
he has magical undead powers.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
But just like the Romans, they do keep like switching Lord Marshals because there's a bunch of backstabbery going on. The necromongers have a rule that anything that you take by killing someone is rightfully yours, because like, I don't know, magical Egyptian rules, like if you take it through death, it will be with you when you enter the world of the dead or whatever.
That's pretty close to how like Black Widows work. So I can see that. Black Widows. Fran, you looking perplexed?
I am perplexed.
A Black Widow is a lady who marries a rich guy and then kills him so that she can have his stuff and then repeats.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's because she's a Black Widow. She's a widow, but she's vicious like a spider. Really,
this
is
I've never heard of that term before.
I cannot be the first person to introduce this idea to you.
I haven't really thought about marrying for money and then killing them. So
nice
cover.
That's really
nice cover, Fran. Very, very smart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You would never. That's crazy.
All right. So the necromongers exist. That's the start of this movie. They're coming. They're unfortunately going to this part of the galaxy that our movie is taking place in.
Damn.
Meanwhile, Riddick has been trying to chill out, but he's being chased by Merc still. He's being chased by that one from Dark Fury that didn't really matter. And he's just like, they're able to catch him. And do they catch him at this point? They have a stupid conversation. And he's just like, what is my bounty at this point? And the Merc's like,
16.
It is actually doubled. This specific person in New Mecca wants you alive and wants you there.
60 million double dollars.
It's now into double dollars.
Wow.
And so Trigun. It's fucking Trigun. And so Riddick, I can't remember if they capture him or if he escapes from them and goes to New Mecca on his own. There's a lot of like whether Riddick is technically captured or not at any specific moment is kind of up in the air.
Because it's all according to Keikaku.
All according to Keikaku. But he goes to New Mecca to figure out who wants him, and he's also like, well, I'm going to check in with Waleed because he lives here, and like he was supposed to tell people I was dead.
I thought he was going to whatever. He was going to New Mecca to do a.
No, he made a pilgrimage out, and then he was on his way back.
That's not what whatever. I don't care. It's fine.
He made a pilgrimage out to Old Mecca, and then he was on his way back to New Mecca.
Amazing.
And so Riddick gets to New Mecca, which, by the way, the necromongers are like a day away from also getting to New Mecca, unrelated.
Right.
Of course.
And this magical space lady tells him, I'm the one who put the bounty on your head because there is a prophecy that a specific race of people will be the end of the necromongers, and you, Riddick, are one of those people. And Riddick's like, I don't know anything about my past. Now,
is she bangable?
No, she's super old, but she's also magic. This is an actor that I actually should have looked up. It's fucking Judi Dench is who it is.
Dame Judi Dench, and you didn't say that she was fuckable.
And you didn't say bangable. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Okay, interesting. It's news to me.
So, CJ, I did not say the name because I would like you to guess the name of the species that Riddick is. Fran, you could guess also. What group is Riddick from?
I literally, my first instinct is to say something like a night seer, but I also want to go with this idea of they all have like reptile.
You're
shark.
thinking way too hard. And think about the fucking
dark
necromongers.
eyes.
New Mecca Crematoria is the name of a planet that's very hot that we're gonna get to in a second.
Something about a grave, something.
Crematoria.
I'm just giving you some name examples.
My answer
here.
is it's his middle initial, obviously, of biggest. That is the name of his
Ooh,
race.
that one would be good.
That is my entry.
The death stairs.
Death seer.
Death seer. That's pretty good.
You, Mr. Richard B. Riddick, are the last of the Furyans.
Furyans?
Yeah, like Fury and then AN on the end.
Yes, yeah.
Because there's like
Is that why the animated short's called The Dark Fury?
The Mighty Furyans.
Because he's a Fury.
He's a Furyan.
Because he's angry or because he's like witness to death?
They were a bestial and mighty people. But the fucking Lord Marshal killed all of them because he knew about the prophecy also. But one little boy was able to escape, and his name was Richard B. Riddick.
He's like, Mama, why you name me Dick Rid? And she says, because one day you'll have to be the biggest of us all. That's where I got the B from.
Mm-hmm. All right, so as Riddick is finding this out, the necromongers reach the planet and they start monging it.
Yep. Taking all those souls. I'm gonna suck those souls, they said.
They suck the Lord Marshal can suck the soul out of someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're doing just a bunch of murders. Riddick is trying to escape. The one merc is actually able to catch him and is like, well, I don't think that anyone on this planet is going to pay out because this planet is about to be devoured. So I'm just going to take you to the nearest prison planet.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And so...
As established in previous lore, yeah.
As established in previous lore. And so while they're doing this, we're introduced to more of the necromonger stuff. There is one of the like captains is named Vako, and he's so fucking loyal, CJ. Like he's loyal to the real cause of the necromongers. But he thinks that the current Lord Marshal sucks because he isn't doing enough killing or something.
Yeah.
He wants
to he can do his job better.
Vako wants to go to the Underverse like now. And this other guy's like, well, we could do a little more traveling space and killing first.
Well, I know a pretty like quick way, like a shortcut if he was like really interested in going there.
No, but like religiously, like we all have to go. I can't just go.
It's kind of weird how the religious guys are like, well, I can't just go. I got to bring you guys too.
Well, listen, I can't just go. So Vako doesn't like the Lord Marshal, but doesn't want to betray him. And his wife is this manipulator person it's very like fucking Macbethy, where she's like, no, you should definitely kill the Lord Marshal. And so what they decide is they're like, well, I've heard a prophecy that a Furyan is going to kill the Lord Marshal. What if we get this Riddick guy and we have him do it? And then at the last second, you'll kill both of them, and then that's kosher somehow. And Vako's like, all right, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Good plan.
That's lateral problem solving is what we call that.
So now this sect of the necromongers are looking for Riddick specifically as he's being launched off planet to our silly sun planet where the prison is underground crematoria.
The prison's underground because this planet has it's always in eclipse except every 22 years where the sun comes out and it's blazing hot and it's like, oh, it's too hot.
This one, the sun as the planet is rotating, it melts the face of the planet that's facing the sun.
Great.
Uh,
I like that.
anyway,
I do. Yeah, it's fun.
so Riddick gets there. We of course have to like we've been talking about how Riddick escapes all of the prisons, and we haven't had him do a prison escape yet.
I mean, except for the other ones, but yeah.
We haven't seen it on the big screen,
Okay,
CJ. A
yeah.
prison escape.
How does this boy do it?
They send him down into the pit, right? It's just like a big dugout mine or some shit that they put him all in, and Riddick does his whole like, I'm the baddest motherfucker here, and I'm gonna break out in a day, and also
Oh.
I have a metal cup here. I'm gonna kill you with this metal cup. And one of the other inmates is like, you're not that bad, and then he kills him with the cup.
I thought,
and everyone's like, okay, Riddick is very badass.
that was weird. For some reason, I thought he was like, check this out. He just pisses in it, and he's like, I'll drink this whole fucking thing of piss. I don't even care. He just does it in front of all of them. Like, oh my god, he's so badass. He just does it. I'd piss in anything and drink it.
That guy was such a badass. He sucked a dick for bus money and then he walked.
yeah, basically.
And who else does he find in this prison? He finds Jack,
why wouldn't he? But at the same time, why would he?
I think there's like a thing where he found out that's where Jack is, and he like suggested to the merc, like, oh, you should take me to crematoria. They pay out good money or whatever. But fucking who cares? It's an excuse to bring her back into the thing.
Yeah.
But
so why was Jack in prison?
Because despite the stuff, Jack has been trying to follow in Riddick's footsteps anyway, and so has been doing crimes and whatnot, and intentionally getting into prison where they could be a badass.
And
I'm still
Riddick
confused.
figured this out. How?
I think Waleed told him that. He's like, oh yeah, this fucking
Jack was taken to the
Jack was being shitty, and then he got taken away to the prison planet.
I'm starting to see why you named these characters at the beginning, but yeah, all right.
I still don't understand. I mean, I get the backstory is Riddick is cool badass guy, but like, what did he actually do to get him?
He killed his family.
So notorious.
He killed his family, but not really, Fran.
We chose to go to Butcher Bay. We chose to go to the Space Romans instead of Butcher's Bay.
Oh, so now
you gotta wait.
We're not gonna know that. Damn it.
So,
because I have a feeling being a petty thief is not what got him to be a badass, right? So Jack's
Fran, there's nothing petty about Vin Diesel. All of it's
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All of it's very superior.
That's why Jack trying to become cool by committing some crimes that probably aren't as cool as what biggest Riddick.
That's true. I would like to know what Jax did.
You know what I mean?
That she could like live up to the hype.
Her whole thing was that Riddick said that he got his magical eyes in a prison, and she was like, I'm gonna go to prison and get magical eyes. And then she was like, what the heck? You can't just get magical eyes in prison. This is shit.
Oh boy. This is why we can't cut public education.
So Jack and Riddick have met up. Jack is like, teenage rebellious phase, late teenage rebellious phase, angry at Riddick for abandoning her, even though Riddick was trying to do it for her own good, etc. But they're together now, and before Riddick is able to do any kind of escape plan, oh shit, the necromongers have been following here, Vaco and his crew, and a space prison planet probably does not have the defenses for like a Roman fleet to arrive and start murdering everybody. So the warden guys and such are like, oh shit, we just need to get out of here. There's only one escape ship that I have, and we're gonna get to it. And so they start going through their little tunnels there. And I need you to know that we got to talk a little bit about the layout.
Yep. I was literally going to ask, is it like Parthenon, but in space, or what are we dealing with?
It's like literally like a panopticon in the mine section.
Yeah,
but
fantastic.
there's like their little airporty section where the mercs came in to drop them off, right? That is like 2 miles that way. And there's underground tunnels.
It's really far away.
Yeah, and there's underground tunnels that lead between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the warden's like, we're gonna run down those underground tunnels, we're gonna get to our one escape ship. And Jack is still, this being their character purpose, is just like, oh shit, Rick, how would we get there first when they have like direct tunnel paths and such? And Riddick says, because he just fucking knows this, they know a way to get onto the surface of the planet. Now, do you remember what I said about like while this planet is facing the sun, like the sun melts the surface of it, right?
Oh, that was real. I thought that was a bit. Okay.
No, what? Fran?
No, I believe that.
I didn't categorize that under canon information. Okay.
This is like sci-fi fantasy. Are you like, well, that part wouldn't have been true.
That's
some
hyperbolic.
Some sort of flying saucer that can go betwixt planets. That makes no sense to me.
I'm fine with that part. I just didn't think the sun would actually melt the planet.
It's basically Mercury, Fran.
It's basically Mercury, Fran.
Venus is hotter than Mercury.
Damn also. Right she is.
Okay. Well, all right. All right. I might let that into the episode. We'll see.
All right. So Riddick says, because he just like fucking knows this, he says, when the sun melts the planet, it leaves it like molten magma mess.
Yeah.
But the part of the planet that has been like in the shade, not facing the sun, for the longest, is cool enough for us to walk across. You know, the part that would be literally right before it hits the sun again.
Right.
And so if we go out right now where the sun would be like coming blazing along behind us to melt everything, if we go fast enough,
as long as you're going west,
we're outrunning the sun.
Right.
We will outrun the sun to get to the spaceship, and then we can escape first.
I believe this. I think this might be true.
If the sun is hot enough to melt the surface of this planet, why is there just a ship
right there? Yeah, friend.
There?
I also was wondering.
It's in like a mountain thingy. You know,
how is the mountain not molten?
I mean, it is on the outside, but it's like
on
deep
the inside. Yeah, it's like a flambe, Fran. It's the gooey.
It's it's fucking science fiction, Fran. Like 5 blast doors like open up for the ship to come in, and only in the nighttime, and like blah blah blah.
I thought you said blastoises, and I thought it was like, well, we keep our ship cool because we have all these blastoises.
We have all these cannons
spraying water over them like sexy cheerleaders, keeping it cool in the daytime.
Okay.
So
sorry, I'm trying to appeal to the polka porn, kind of crew, which is a non-negligible amount of people.
I was really surprised at how high on the list of Pornhub category it was.
Oh, it's like 6.
Yeah, it was. Pokemon was really high on that list. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how people be.
I don't know why.
CJ says one of the primary reasons it's up there at 6. All right, so
why'd they make that bunny so thick? Is all I'm saying.
Why'd they make that bunny so thick? So they're running across the planet, and Jack
outrunning the sun.
Outrunning the sun.
Okay, Jack I will have to ask then. What is like? How often does this like? How long is a day here?
Well,
I mean, like a slightly slower than Riddick can run is how fast the planet is.
It's a really long day.
I feel like you're gonna make
it's not like a 24-hour cycle.
I feel like you're gonna make me calculate this later, but it doesn't matter because it's dark right now, right? Like it's probably too dark to see, generally, right?
I mean, yeah, there's this. You can see the part of it that's melting and such. But the other part, it's all dark out.
Fortunately, though, Riddick
So
can see in the
His dark
dark.
vision.
Yeah.
So they're running along. Jack can keep up better this time, but still Riddick is the most baddest asses, so he's going faster. But character growth this time, he decides that he will help Jack when Jack is like falling behind, even though he normally is just like anyone who can't keep up with me should just die. But doing so, he gets just a little bit of sun on him. Just it hurts a little bit, and so that is the reason why when they do get to this spaceship, he is not in fighting condition when fucking Vaco is there waiting for him.
How do you?
And
Well, okay.
yeah,
Now I'm really gonna have to do the math because like a human height, the angle,
No.
the speed of which.
I look forward to the follow-up on our next episode.
It's really like a lot of work you're giving me right now, and I really am just like not.
You have
pleased
2
with
weeks.
It.
I feel like I told you guys that a cool firewall is like going, and they're like, "What if we outrun the firewall?" And you're like, well, "Let me check the logistics of it." Like, shut the fuck up.
This is like orbital. This is like orbit.
Yeah, it's like planets rotating around. Like there are equations to do this. It's not Gandalf showing up and being like, "You shall not see the sun." It's like a fucking guy running around a big circle, and a different circle is shooting big, powerful circle rays at him, and if it gets hit, oh no.
You should be thinking about it more like Gandalf raising. You would land with this a lot better.
It's absurd.
So they get there, and fucking Riddick gets gunned down, and Jack gets captured because he wasn't in full Riddick fighting mode because
he was hit by the sun by a little bit.
He was a little bit on fire.
Like his arm? Like what part of him was a little bit on fire?
I seem to recall it's just like
thick ass.
His hand.
His thick ass.
Because he's running.
Thick ass was a little bit on fire.
It was sticking out too far. We like that. That's funny. That's a good joke.
So Jack has been captured, and Riddick is there, and he's like presumably dead. But then fucking magical lady brings him back to life, and
Judi Dench?
Is she hot?
Hotter than Judi Dench, so I guess that's pretty hot.
That's pretty hot.
So different magical space lady. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he not get melted? I'm confused. Okay, hold on.
No, I told you he was just a little bit, Fran.
No, but like they're fighting on like this helipad.
They gained this distance.
What it is? This place is inside. It's inside a mountain
this is
thing.
the mountainside with all the Blastoises. Remember, the Blastoises that are like.
All of the Blastoises are protecting them.
Right.
They're like, that's fine. I didn't realize you're inside at this
covering
point.
him with a spray of water,
still.
like one of those like golf courses. It's like,
just misting.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this magical space lady. Oh my god, is everything in the universe is like trying to stop me from finish this. Edge just opened itself up to tell me something about the fucking Pope.
Is the Pope dead? Hold on, let me double check.
Hold on. How many
know.
popes do we have?
I didn't know right now. It's between 1 and 0 usually. I'm just gonna Google Pope.
Do we
All right,
count,
I don't see anything about a Pope being dead.
Convicts former Pope advisor of financial crimes 12 hours ago.
I did not need to know that, Edge.
Yeah, Vatican's trial. Vatican Cardinal given 5.5-year jail sentence.
Vatican sentences Cardinal Giovanni Angelo Bacciui to over 5 years for fraud. In Pope jail? Does the Vatican have a jail? All right, whatever.
So a magical space lady has showed up, and she's
inside the Blastoises.
Inside the Blastoises.
Okay.
And she is like, Riddick, I am like a spirit of the Furyans, and you're the last of the Furyans, and I have been unlocking your power for some time now. I'm actually the reason you got magical sight eyes. And is
that all of it though? She's like, I'm unlocking your powers little by little, and he's like, well, so far I can see in the dark. And she's like, yeah, that's it.
That's me.
he did a weird power beam sphere thing one time. It was in this movie. It was weird.
What?
So
Hold on.
so inconsequential, you just glazed over it.
It
Yeah, I don't
wasn't.
know. You can do like Big Bang Blast or whatever. It's not
It
a big
was.
deal.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was entirely inconsequential. It was only so that this part makes slightly more sense when she says, "I have been unlocking your powers over time.
Very good.
You must defeat the Lord Marshal and avenge the Furyans because I'm furious about it."
Oh,
And he
I'm
was like,
furious about it.
he is like, "I see what you did there."
He's like, you might be Furian, but I'm fast and Furian, and I'm gonna get him.
He says, "Well, I guess it really is all about family."
Yeah, well, you and me, we're family, and that's the biggest thing that's important to me. That's what the B in my name stands for, is big family. And I can't wait. I can't wait to spend my life serving this big family. And then he gives her a little kiss on the forehead. Says, "I'm gonna go do the rest of the movie now."
All right. So Riddick, he makes his way to the fucking necromonger like fleet prime ship,
Right.
and sneaks his way on and
Sure.
yeah, he's known
I'm
for being
sure.
a sneaky
Yeah,
boy.
I'm sure there's some reason he got on there, but yeah, it was dark
He
out. No one else could see except me, because that's my
Yeah.
thing.
exactly. Um, and so he challenges the Lord Marshal in front of everybody, and they're like, well, I think Vaco is like, well, you can't turn down a challenge. Like, there's some kind of Roman rule that you can't.
Of
Or
course.
are you afraid of some little prophecy, you
Yeah,
bitch?
yeah. I've seen the end of Gladiator. I know.
Hmm. And Lord Marshall is like, well, fine, but first I'm going to show you Riddick because you could join us instead, like your friend Jack. And
No.
Jack has been converted to a necromonger. And
Oh.
and she's like, you should join us, Riddick. We're magical, immortal. We're nigh immortal. It's pretty neat, actually.
I also got cool eyes from joining them. Turns out you can go to prison and get cool eyes. It's just a little bit longer of a process
It
than I
was a
thought it would
longer,
be.
yeah. I turned in the paperwork and I lost hope, but actually it was just I had to wait a month.
Yeah, Magic Lady didn't give me my cool eyes. I had to work for them. You're a little nepo baby. You little bitch, Reddick.
So Riddick and the Lord Marshal start duking it out. And Riddick is losing this fight because the Lord Marshal, again, is a magic necromancer
Mm,
lich thing.
Oh.
Uh, and he can do weird, like, teleporty stuff. And he's going around, he's beating the shit out of Riddick. And it looks bad for Riddick. And the blade is about to come down on him when suddenly Jack leaps in front of it and takes the killing blow for Riddick, and
oh.
she's just like, I actually do. I think you're pretty cool still.
It's like a weird change of heart. Her whole thing was that she wanted to be powerful and not die, and then she's died. So that
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
cool.
I realized that what's more important is that you, Vin Diesel, are a cool guy.
It's literally eternal life right there, but okay. And also, probably Riddick would have been pretty disappointed in that decision. Would have been like, yeah, you should have did the live forever thing. That's because
Mhm.
my character trait establishes that I'm selfish. I look out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mhm.
well, I guess if I guess based
And
on
I like
those,
survivors.
I guess based on those rules, the fact that you help me out means that I like you because I'm all about me.
You've got it. I think
Wow.
probably.
I'm ready to
Uh,
make my new D&D character, I think.
all right. Uh,
He's going to be
so
insufferable.
of course, like, they start to fight, and now Riddick is Furyans,
Hmm.
and
It's Fast and Furious, so yeah.
he's Fast and Furious, and he is able to beat the Lord Marshal, and he's able to beat him so handily that there is like no room for Vaco to like step in, and Vaco's wife is just sitting there like go kill him, fight now, kill him now, and Vaco's like. I think he's like transfixed by how rad the fight is, if I remember right. He is just kind of like, whoa, holy shit. Uh, And
You
Riddick
kicked my ass so good. That was so impressive. I'm still thinking about it right now.
and so Riddick, he lands the killing blow on the Lord Marshal, and Riddick's just like, all right, fine, I've done it, and now you guys can do whatever you want to me. And
Anything you
I
do
don't,
to me
I
is
don't,
fine by me. All of
I
you
don't
big,
even,
powerful Greek Roman men.
I don't even care anymore. My little bestie just died.
Mm.
And of course, what do they all do? They all bow before
Yeah, they
Yeah,
him.
make
because
him
he's the
into
Lord
king.
Marshal now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
sucks.
and
Then Vin Diesel just jacks off on the screen for like 5 minutes because he's like, "Yeah, you like this, don't you, you little bitch?"
and that is how that movie ends. And
That's
if
how it ends?
that's how the movie ends, with Riddick sitting on the throne, and he says, "You keep what you kill." And for anyone who was dumb enough in the audience to not be like, "Oh right, that thing." Um,
Right.
and if logic had their way, that would be the end of the Riddick series. But Vin Diesel said, "Fuck that."
No.
They
Nay.
there was there's like a myth going around that there was you know, the Roman Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
There was a room in it. It was called the Comatorium, and everyone thought that's where everyone went to jack off on Vin Diesel when he like did a good job in the arena. But that's actually just where people arrived for the event, and they just like walked inside. That's where they would come to go inside. And that's a very funny joke if you know about the vomitorium thing and like the myth with all
Mm-hmm,
that stuff.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the like apex level comedy that I just can't do because it's too isolating. It makes people feel too small, and I'm sorry for that. And there's no chance this doesn't get into the episode. And that's the troubling part, because I'm so chuffed with that whole thing, that whole exchange. That's just there's no chance that that's not in there. That I'm not talking to the people right now.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
So that's the end of the second movie that should have sunk the series. But Mr. Vin Diesel,
It's that Fast and Furyans money.
he
Does what he wants.
he insisted that they make a third one. And
Insisted with $100 bills coming out of his fist as he's holding them out.
this third movie is called Riddick.
Okay.
Right. Back to form.
We're back to
basics.
form. He like, the movie starts with him saying like, somewhere along the way I got soft and I need to remember my
And
animal instinct.
I got too beta, and now I'm gonna do a movie where I'm a big, strong man again.
I'm not even gonna go over this one. This one is almost entirely a rehash of the first movie. He
Really?
goes to a planet to like find his roots. He, instead of Jack, there's a alien dog that he hangs out with.
Oh.
Mercenaries.
They replaced the trans man with a dog?
Hell yeah.
Great.
The fucking mercenaries come to find him for his big bounty, and fucking one of the mercenaries is Johns. Wait, I thought Johns was dead. It's Johns Sr., who is in every way like Johns, but is mad because he thinks that Riddick killed his son Johns.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Wasn't Johns like a... Okay. I thought Johns was like an orphan for some reason.
No, he's all just a merc also.
Great.
The one difference, Dave Bautista is one of the mercenaries, and he is pretty funny.
Whoa.
Because he's a big dumb mercenary guy, and he and Riddick do back and forth where he is the butt of the joke.
He is like,
Okay.
I am a simple person, and yet I'm very strong. You know, the character I play.
And also they're fucking around on the planet for a little while. Oh, but there's a big like dust storm coming, and it turns out that there's a bunch of alien monsters that only live in the dust storm, and there's fucking thousands of them, and they have to escape the planet.
And they have shark heads, but these ones are like nurse shark heads, not like hammerhead shark heads.
These ones have scorpion tails. They are also pretty rad.
And they smell testosterone, not blood, which means that
oh no, Riddick!
Riddick, run! You can't save yourself.
So that is the movie series thus far. I justify talking about this because Mr. Vin Diesel is
There's no
making
way.
make a fourth.
So there's a
That-
fourth one coming?
He's
When did the third one come out? When did the third one?
2013.
So it's a decade later.
A decade in the making, he said. We're not releasing it till it's done. It's
Listen, I gotta save up a little more Fast and Furious money before. But then I am going to make you guys make a fourth one.
Unfortunately, we put Vin Diesel in the tank, but this series only takes Vin gas, so we're gonna have to put some Vin unleaded in there. We're gonna back it up. We gotta slow it down because society can't handle what I'm cooking over here.
So that is the Riddick movie series. Now you might recall I was talking to you guys a little earlier about Escape from Butcher's Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So in that pile of things that Vin Diesel made people make when he was like first super into this and throwing his biggest dickus around, he made them make a video game about Riddick. It's called Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay. It came out in 2004 on, I believe, the original Xbox at the time. No. We've been talking about Chronicles of Riddick for a while, right? So you guys have a pretty good vibe on the series, right?
Okay.
Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher's Bay is one of the greatest licensed video games of all time. It has won multiple awards and is like legitimately one of my favorite stealth games of all time.
Stealth?
It is so good in like stark contrast with all the rest of the stuff that the series puts out. It's fucking awesome. It's just randomly a really, really good game.
It's a prequel.
It is a prequel.
It's his origin story, I assume.
I mean,
or like why he's so cool.
It is about the space planet in which he got his shiny eyes.
I think I got the shiny eyes from the space lady.
But he said he got them from breaking out of space visitor friend. Come on, keep up.
Yes.
Okay.
And so
his captor is the bounty hunter William J. Johns. The two have had previous encounters. So even in this prequel, they still have already had previous encounters before the
I mean,
but this is the one that gave him his space eyes.
Why not just make this the one where they meet?
Because that way Vin Diesel can have banter back and forth with Johns about how they're, oh, you got me again, Johns, but you know I'm gonna break out of this place. And he's like, nah, Riddick, this time's for real.
The rapper Exhibit is in this video game.
Oh wow.
He pulled a lot of like several other like actors for the voices, and they actually do like a really good job. This is one of the earliest games that I would say has like good voice acting throughout. This one came out 3 years before Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed like definitely pulled a decent amount of influence from the whole like platforming traversal in order to get to secret areas to kill people the bestest. Like,
hold on, Assassin's Creed is that new? Hold on, really?
They got Steve Bloom to play in this. They got Steve Bloom to play in this fucking thing.
Assassin's Creed first one is 2007.
Really? I thought it was older than that. Sorry.
No.
No, I mean it was on the 360.
Was it? Wow.
Yes.
Fran, Steve Bloom's in this video game.
That's great.
That's
awesome.
That's the Toonami guy. It all came full circle. I know.
It's also Spike Spiegel.
It all came full circle.
Like, this is hey, every space cowboy, this is my spaceship where Riddick is on it.
So
I look forward to your progress on your Spike Spiegel / Steve Bloom impression.
A little bit of work, maybe.
I'm Brimstone. And et al.
So this is a game that is about escaping one of these prison planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And part of what makes it like fun and interesting and different from a lot of other stealth games is that for roughly 2/3 of the game, like you don't have any resources to work with. Like you are in just like in a prison, you have nothing working for you, and it's a lot of like, oh, I fucking had to like tail this guy who I knew had a shiv so that I could kill him in the back room, and now I have something that is somewhat stabby,
Hmm.
and just like very slow progress through. I am going to like build up and earn every bit of my escape from this prison place. Um,
So it's like
but
bartering of like I started with like a bead and I traded all the way up to a ship situation.
get
So
like murder bartering.
Yeah.
Uh,
it says that it was inspired by Thief, The Dark Project, and Deus Ex.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially with Thief, you can feel the influence.
Yeah, Thief's a very
But
non. You're not supposed to fight anybody.
it's a really good game, but I do love it is like still a B movie sci-fi kind of thing. And I love basically um the super rich leader of the prison planet, right? Like his section of it is like posh, like
Hmm.
chandelier cathedral kind of stuff. Um he's just like, ah, yes, I've got my Riddick now, and you'll never escape from Butcher's Bay because we all have to say this when you come to our prison planets.
Mm-hmm. That's
Hmm.
his
Uh,
title drop.
and so uh, he first he puts him in regular prison here,
Foolish.
and uh, Riddick is able to you make a riot occur, right?
Uh-huh.
And Riddick is almost able to escape, but then they catch him again, and he's like, "Oh, very tricky, Riddick. I am going to put you into double max security prison now." And
Oh.
so they lower him into like the deepest section where everyone just kind of works as like slave miners, and yeah, you have to like work your way up. You get some resources by like participating in a fight club that like the guards run in there where the inmates all just murder each other.
Cool.
Uh, and you work your way out, and you are almost able to escape at that point. But he gets caught again. He's like, "All right, I'm not fucking around anymore, Riddick." And so he
Not
puts you
you wouldn't send him to triple.
triple
Oh my god.
triple max
Oh
prison.
no, no one can get out of triple prison. That
So
shit's like the worst one.
triple max. They keep you in a pod all day except for 2 minutes where they have to let you out to exercise every day.
Otherwise
uh
he would get small, and he can't be small. He's got to be big.
Not in prison.
Not in prison.
and so Riddick, while being in there, he is able to like, you take like a loose screw that he finds off of something, and like as he's getting back into the pod, because there's fucking guns up there, like, you must now return to the pod, or we are legally allowed to shoot you dead.
Yeah.
And so he just like sticks it in the one section, and so the hinge is going down, and it looks like it closes, but it is broken or whatever.
Hmm.
And you break out of this max secure
Triple
triple
prison you break out
Triple.
of?
you break out of triple max security prison,
Oh my
and then
goodness.
because you're up in the fancier section, they do have the guards who are actually well equipped, like with fucking gun robots, and
Oh.
you steal into one of the gun robots, and like we're done with stealth now, and you now have a final gun robot fight with the
Yeah.
fucking boss man.
That's
And
fun.
I
at
am
the
I'm looking at the page here. It says they made a Windows port of Escape to the Butcher Bay, which was entitled "The Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher's Bay Director's Cut." The game features a higher display resolution, additional cigarette packs, and a new scene where Riddick steals mechanized riot armor.
Nice.
So you get two cool things. You get the mechanized riot armor and additional cigarettes, which is very cool.
uh it's is fucking rad. I love that the general consensus for why this game didn't do better is because it was attached to such a lame fucking movie
Such a
series
I mean,
that not enough people thought it would be good. They thought it would just be more, like shovelware schlock that you do,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so it didn't sell very well.
According to the Wikipedia page, it says is often cited as one of the quote greatest video games ever made. During the game, Riddick acquires eye shine, allowing him to see in the dark, but temporarily blinding him if used in the light. So, there you go. Wow.
There you go. We found out for you, Jack, how Riddick got his eye shine from a fucking really good video game.
So this is actually a story about the greatest video game ever made. Wow.
Now, I don't know. I would say calling it one of the greatest games ever made might be a bit of a stretch, but I would say it probably is one of the greatest games ever made based off of a licensed property.
Go with that.
And it is, again, like legitimately a landmark stealth game, and it's fucking wild. Honestly, I think that more people who get rich and famous should spend their money on making video games.
Yeah, I agree. I think people who are rich and famous should invest in video game industry and invest in very small but funny podcasts, because that's right, we're at the end of this episode. We have done another episode of The Lore You Know. Thank you guys so much for listening. We love to have you here. We love to talk about silly, funny bullshit that Vin Diesel did, I guess. That's always a good time. And we love to share that with you guys. And when we share it with you guys, you can also share it with other people, your friends, your family, the people you know. Just let them know that there's a silly little podcast. Put it on social media. We're on Blue Sky. If that's your speed, we're Cooking with Spices over there. And we're on YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. Give us that subscribe. Give us just, ask Ethan how his day is going, because he just likes that. He likes it when you check in. It's not a big deal. Like, he won't be sad if you don't, but it just brightens his day a little bit if you do. So thank you guys again. And we want to thank Gail Storm Kitsune for doing the artwork for the channel. You'll see it all about us and on the channel page and all that good stuff. And we want to thank Apajo for doing the intro and outro song to the podcast. And wow, what a journey! What a chronicle, if you if you will. But this one is not the Chronicle of Riddick. Actually, this one is the Chronicle of me. I've been CJ.
Oh, I've been Ethan.
And I've been Fran.
And I am Groot. That's right. I brought it back right at the end because I really thought it was funny earlier and I wanted to do it again.
I love it.